UFO. Is this going to be the first superhero landed? This movie, man, really stuck to trying to keep it as accurate as possible.
And faithful. They were being faithful, bro. They were
Yeah.
being faithful to the fans because they know they're doing a live action Guyver movie.
What's happening, people? Welcome to the Brothers Geek Out movie review. And today we are doing a retro movie review for Guyver Dark Hero 1994. This one is a sequel to the Guyver movie that came out in 1991 that was directed by Steve Wang, who also directed this. But this is comes from the original manga, which came out in 1985. So this movie does highlight a much darker tone and keep more faithful to the original manga that does come out.
Calling me to fight, to kill.
So the original manga, they called it Bio Boosting Guyver. Or simply just a Guyver, right? And then the manga series was illustrated by Yoshiki Takaya. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name. The Guyver symbol itself was like a techno-organic device that enhanced the capability of his host, which was sick, right? So it ran from like 1985 to about 2016. There's so many adaptations, but it started in 1985, which these movies were based on. So director Steve Wang, who directed the first one as well, Neutronics, which had a bit more of a comedy sort of, it was a bit dark, but still had more comedy sort of vibe to it.
I want that guiding, jiving thing, boy.
Guyver Dark Hero was definitely more true towards the manga. Now Steve Wang, he's known for like he directed this movie. He directed Drive, the one with Mark Dacascos, which was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, he was also involved in Predator in regards to the special effects and the creature effect unit. So this is good because this movie has a lot of creatures, which we're going to get into as well. He was also involved in Bill and Ted Face the Music, again special effects.
Sick.
So this is starring David Hayter, right, who plays Sean Baker, the main protagonist of the movie. Now, David Hayter, he's been in loads of stuff, right? He was even in the X-Men movies, X-Men 2. He
wrote the X-Men once.
Yeah, X-Men 2, right?
Yeah,
he wrote that.
Yeah.
Watchmen 2009, he wrote that. He was a writer on that as well. I personally know, and I feel like he's most famous for Metal Gear Solid, for voicing Solid Snake.
Oh yes,
which was great. At one point, they did take him out in one of the new ones. They put Kiefer Sutherland in. I believe they brought him back because he was perfect voice for Solid Snake. So as I said, like this, I think the target audience for this one, Guyver Dark Hero, the one we're talking about, is definitely from the manga. Like that would be the target audience. If you love the manga, the original manga, the target audience for that for this movie is definitely this one.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, as well as like sci-fi action fans and who enjoy practical effects and stuff like that. So just a quick plot overview. And this is obviously a spoiler one. This movie came out in 1994, man. So it focuses on Sean Baker's struggle to control the Guyver unit in this, and he starts investigating into this mysterious archaeological dig, right, which he eventually finds, right, unearths to find more answers to this Guyver unit, basically. So this unearthed alien technology. He does struggle. We'll get into his character. He does struggle a bit between him and the Guyver unit. It almost felt like the Hulk in the beginning. It felt like the Hulk because he kept on referring it to it. And there was almost this scene, if you remember, bro, when he's going to the archaeological site. In the beginning, he kind of breaks up with his girlfriend because she can't take his obsession with it and whatnot. And then he goes to the archaeological site. And on that way, there was almost like the lonely man journey. Like he broke up with his girl, he was by himself. There was just this music playing, him trying to hitchhike on the roads, trying to get there. And it just reminded me of the Hulk, the lonely man. which was awesome. So I felt like there's a little bit of a comparison there. Also, he did refer to the Guyver unit as it. I don't think he was like psychologically
one with
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So in this movie, there are like the Zoanoids, which we're going to get into as well. But they're these bioengineered creatures, right? Alien creature race, like who serves in the film as the main antagonist, right? And then there's this whole storyline kind of around this whole Kronos Corporation, right? Which is this sinister organization, secretly controls the world, and is responsible for all these Zoanoids, right? End of the day, they have their agendas of not just business and taking over the world and understanding this alien technology, but using it to take over, right? As corporations do and big businesses do. So these humans transform into these powerful, monstrous beings. And it also deeply connects to the creation experiment of the Guyver unit, which we'll get into as well, which is the alien bioboost and armor film's plot. So the character analysis, right? We spoke about this just a little bit, but I touched on it a bit. But it does analyze, like it does go into like Sean's internal conflict as a man trying to control this dangerous power, right? Because that's what he kept on saying throughout the movie, right? If you remember, he kept saying, "I don't kill. I'm not a killer. It kills." Yeah. Right, and it kind of takes over and stuff. So it does discuss it does go through like his journey in the film, and it mirrors the struggles of the original manga. Do you remember? I think he was a college student, Sho Fukamachi.
Sure,
from the manga, and especially like the tension between the humanity and then the destructive capabilities of this Guyver unit. Right?
That's right.
So like that storyline, I think, is awesome because like it's almost like he's a chosen one in a way, but it's like. It's always like the same thing, right? That Spider-Man has the best profile. Right? With great powers come great responsibility. And it's just about finding that balance between that responsibility and the power that you have. So like I do think like this movie touches on that in the beginning and throughout the whole movie until obviously we get to the end where he does make kind of like, I would say, peace with it in a sense, and you understood what its capabilities are as he goes through the movie. And then he understands that
he kind of accepts it. I think towards the end of the movie, he kind of accepts it because they said it was a failed experiment, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it was like it was their set. Like I don't know. I think that was the thing that was a bit confusing for me because it didn't really tell me. You know, in that little when he's communicating with the ship. The little timeline storyline that they were trying to say there didn't really make much sense. It's only at the end when he says, we just a failed experiment, and they were the Zoanoids were the perfect ones.
Which seems I felt like it should be the other way, right? Because Zoanoids were butters looking, they were limited with their powers and whatnot, and the bio-boosted armor seemed like the one to just take out the Zoid, like with the setup.
Exactly.
That's what it felt like. But it felt like almost like it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Alien movie. Which one? The one you don't like again? Prometheus. In the sense that the alien comes to Earth. And kind of extracts his DNA. I mean, I don't think it did in this one, extracted his DNA, but almost kind of applying this DNA or technology to the monstrous technology to human beings to kind of evolve human beings to like a perfect sort of being.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, reminded me a little bit of that. And then the aliens were created in Alien Prometheus. The aliens were created to because they thought humans were a failed species, right? If I remember correctly. So this one is like almost a similar sort of thing. But it's weird that the Guyver unit itself is saying that the Guyvers were the actual failed experiments. That was a little bit confusing. I agree because it just makes sense that then they're the ones that should be out there eliminating the Zoanoids.
No, of course.
But then you did have like supporting characters in this movie. Like Corey became his new love interest, who was like one of the archaeologists, whatever you call it. And then you had the
scientists.
Scientists and her father and whatnot, who were involved with the other characters who were all part of this Kronos corporation.
Yeah, corporation.
Throughout the movie, you could tell like the corporate vibe versus the good, like the regular scientist and whatnot. You could just tell that the corporate. I mean, these were old school movies, so you could already tell that everyone who was involved with Kronos just looked dodgy from the beginning, anyway.
Yeah.
As a fan of the manga, you already knew like there's Zoanoids. You could already tell that there's Zoanoids I do have to like the movie has an great opening scene. I have to say, it's the
Yeah.
opening scene like sets the tone of the movie, right?
Mm.
Because he gives a quick little backstory of how he became the Guyver, and then it's like almost like a vigilante scene where some thugs are robbing some stuff or cocaine. Remember the cocaine in the doll or whatever. And then the Guyver unit shows itself as a vigilante. I mean, it almost kind of like presents itself as like he is a hero, he's a vigilante. But then it sets the tone, the darkness of the movie, which really relates to the manga, right? Because immediately he's like chopping up dudes and whatnot. He's like sliced that dude's throat open and whatnot. People getting shot, blood all over the place. So immediately you could tell like this sets the tone, and it definitely the target audience is from the original manga. Like, because when you watch Mutronics, it wasn't like that. And if you watch Mutronics and you expect the same thing, it's definitely not. It kind of changes. And I think this is a great example of a movie like where part 2 is better than part 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Right? Because it changed. 100%. It probably learned from the mistakes it made in the first one, which kind of took away itself from the manga. And then it followed more true towards the manga, which was a bit more violent, more darker tone and whatnot. What did you think of that opening scene and stuff?
No, opening scene is good, man. It's weird because as you watch these movies and you get older, you notice little things. And I'm not going to take credit away from it. Like, it's still a good, fun movie to watch. But you notice like some of the edit cuts are a bit slow, and some of the martial arts, when he does get the guys, they're a bit losing before they even get kicked. But it's still a good opening scene, bro. It's like cheese at the best level ever. Like the bad guy, like, don't kill me, please, man, please don't kill me. And then
just arrest me.
It's like, come on, bro.
Please, don't kill me, just arrest me.
You're supposed to be like Scarface, bro. You're looking all dressed up like Scarface. You're supposed to be the dumb, bro. Don't be so. Why are you scared now suddenly? But it sets the tone. The martial arts, the violence, the darkness of it. And as you said, it's almost like a Batman scene, but this one actually kills you. You know what I mean? He actually plays with the darkness. Bro, the costume in that opening scene when he walks through the steam.
That.
It has a presence, bro. I don't care. That is probably one of the best suits, like in like sort of pop culture, I've got to say, because I remember the anime. You watch that anime, it's really exaggerated. Is the way they kill, the way they scream and shit like that. It was really good. No, it's really good. It sets a tone. It's still one of my favorite suits. You know what I mean? Honestly, one of my favorite suits. I love the way it works. I love the way it connects to the host. I love the way it has its own thoughts. With I don't know what that part is called, but the chest buster. I'd call it the chest buster. And they got this guy. Whoever was underneath that suit fighting was a good martial artist as well.
Definitely.
I love the way, bro.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but the sounds and everything. Sick.
Yeah. I mean, that was my next part to go into, like the action and effects. You're right. I mean, when I saw that suit, I'll be honest, I haven't seen this in ages. So I was thinking, this is gonna look cheesy. But the suit looked great. It looked amazing. Like it fit really well. It didn't look out of place. I think the dark tones of the movie kind of emphasized on making it looking a bit more like realistic in the sense that it fit really well. But yeah, I mean, the practical effects in this movie were awesome, right? The creature designs, not just him, but even the Zoanoids and the creatures. Like, yes, the Zoanoids look butters and whatnot, but in the manga, they look butters as well. They're supposed to look like monsters and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So but the suit, the Guyver suit was wicked, and you're right, like that you could see some of the organism moving and stuff like that.
So cool.
They really emphasizing that old school 1994, and I feel like they pulled it off really well. Same with that.
Very well.
Yeah, the as you said, the forehead the control medal on the forehead and whatnot moves and everything like it's alive basically.
Yeah, and it was like the breathing part and everything.
Oh,
Like the technicality
yes.
of the technicality of the suit is sick, bro. Like
Yeah, when the
I
sleeve
really
comes
that
out.
bro. I was moist, bro. I was genuinely like watching this, and I was like, I still felt like a teenager watching this movie. Like I still love the first Mutronics, but you're right. This is a better movie than the first one, so it just fits much better. Poor Mark Hamill, man. They turned him into like a cockroach or something in that first one. Uh, but I just feel like the the look of the suit, the way they filmed it, like they picked a good location, bro. Like
Mm,
you could be as free as you want because I know in the in the manga, there's a lot of city-based stuff.
yeah, because he was a school
But
kid.
yeah, he was a school kid, so but having it a bit remote allows you to be much more creative, and that's what he had. Like there are some scenes in there with the suit when he comes out of the water, and they give
Mm,
you these sound effects with the suits, and I was moist, bro. I was like,
yeah.
this still is sick. Like I love it.
We used to compare this to like Iron Man. Like we used to say it's a version, an
Yeah,
alien,
yeah,
like Japanese version of Iron Man in a sort of sense where, you know, it's a bio using armor suit, right? Basically, I
mm,
know this one's an alien. Iron Man was human technology and whatnot. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the look and feel of this, I mean, it's one of the closest. I don't know. I don't think they've done any other adaptations, but
No,
it's definitely the closest representation of the
the
manga
anime,
created
manga.
by.
Sorry, manga. Yeah,
Yoshiki Tayaka. I want to pay him his respect.
yeah,
But
yeah,
even
yeah,
just
yeah.
in
Definitely.
general, like when you think about the day and age that we're in through the MCU, DCU, all that sort of stuff. And one of the main things that stick out to us when we watch these movies is like we want like our characters on screen, we want costumes, right? And these
Mm,
days, like a lot of times they kind of deviate away from the costumes. They did that in the first part of like all the X-Men movies and all that sort of stuff. Whereas this movie, man, really stuck to trying to keep it as accurate as possible.
and faithful. They
Uh,
were being faithful, bro. They were being
yeah,
faithful to the fans because they know they're doing a live action Guyver movie. So you're like, I want to be able to entice the fans in some sort of way. And to be honest, if I remember, watched the live action before we did the anime, before we did the manga.
I think we might have, yeah.
So we were introduced to Mutronics first, then uh, I think it was watching the manga or Guyver Dark Hero. That's how we were introduced to it. So that made me a fan of both the manga and the respect that these guys took a risk and made this movie, and it works for me. You know what I mean? 100% it
Yeah,
works for
and
me.
it wasn't a high budget. I mean, it was a low budget movie and whatnot.
Yeah,
But they really, and I think because of like Steve Wang's like experience with like creature design and special effects and whatnot, I think they really emphasized on practical effects. And back in the days, they emphasized a lot more on practical effects, which was great, right? Because when CGI came into the mix, especially if you watch a movie back then, obviously technology was limited then. It just looked a bit funny and whatnot. But they experiment with it. But this one, going off like practical effects, suits and whatnot, looked amazing. I mean, some of the I'll just quickly go through some of the accurate visuals and some of the deviations and
mm,
whatnot from the original. So the biomechanics of the design, as we spoke about, like can't even say that word, but the suit mirrors the organic mechanism of like the fusion in the manga, right? And then, as we said, the control medal on the forehead, the chest orbs, the bio
yeah,
boosting like muscles, the armor segments, like the way it looks and whatnot. It's true to the manga design, right? You got the
mm,
elbow blades, right, which was a great like depicted from the similar fashion of the manga and whatnot coming out of
yeah,
the forearms, which was just so unique as well. The elbow blades in
yeah,
the
man. It
martial
was
arts,
like,
which we'll go into later, was great.
yeah,
Like the sharp curvature of the design kind of matches the Guyver's primary weapon in the original and
yes,
whatnot. And then the organic elements, as we spoke about, right? The suit has this semi-organic look, which much looks like a manga, right? It is an alien form. So when you've got the suit on, like it looks organic, right? Obviously,
Mm.
it's bulletproof and all that sort of stuff, so it's a metal. It's like it's alien metal. But on him, it doesn't look metal. It looks organic. And the body structure and the curving and the breathing and all that sort of stuff looks amazing. I think some of the deviations from the manga, though, is like the bulkiness. Now, I do think the manga one, because obviously in the manga and the animation, they express a lot in the artwork and everything, right? So I feel like the manga was a lot more bulkier. They had different angles and stuff like that. I remember like the calves being bulky and all that sort of stuff. But he didn't look skinny. I think if I remember, like Neutronics, he looked way more skinnier. In this one, again, they filled up the costume, so he looked bulkier, which was awesome.
Yeah.
The facial designs, like, while it was very similar, I think there were some differences.
Okay.
Yeah, because I pulled up something. Let me just read the features, like with multiple lenses. The manga's Guyver often has more I'm trying to read words, bro. There's a bit more detailing in the manga. I think the facial shit, but a bit more detailing. I think in the costume, of course, you're gonna simplify it a bit more, basically.
You're gonna be limited to try and put so many lines into a suit. I mean, for what they did, bro. Like, it even had me thinking, with the eyes, it kind of moves forward, it comes out like a butterfly. Look at the lights they used in that as well. Can you imagine? I don't even think LEDs were invented there, so they had little bulbs in there, bro. My guy must have been singeing his eyes while he was fighting, bro.
Must have been, because they are saying that it's saying that like around the mouth and the ears is where most of the differences happen in the costume compared to the original manga. So it must have been, but you're right, like. They really, like, it was like, they had the eyes and the bulbs and whatnot. It was absolutely amazing. The color and the shading. The color and the shading, like, from the original manga features, like, a bit more color gradients and highlights in the bio-organic features. But that, I think in an anime, like, you're dealing with animation, right? So you can be a lot more creative with the shading and stuff. I think with
much more expressive as well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The film being limited to, like, tactical props, you have to, I get it, you have to make it a bit more simplistic, right? Because you ain't gonna put, you know what I mean? Like, you got to make sure not only are you doing all the designs, but at least if it moves a bit more naturally as well.
Yes.
So the more you put in it, it'll be where, like, it's not going to be very, it's not going to move organically, sort of thing. So the color tone made it look like, the color tone was a little bit different, but it was still dark. I think the darkness of the movie allows you not to focus too much on the too much of the details.
The little bits on it, yeah, that's right, yeah, exactly, the little bits.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, but I think, overall, I mean, like, bro, we both agree, man, as fans, man. The film does an amazing, impressive job replicating that Guyver suit from the original manga.
Exactly.
That was absolutely, especially for that time period, it's absolutely awesome. Going into the fight choreography, man, bro, the fight choreography was amazing, bro, for that time. Like, when that first scene, like the martial arts, the technique, the fluidity of the technique, the striking power, the effects of the person getting beaten up or whatnot. I was like, damn, this is good. Again, I had this thought in my head that this is going to be like cheesy and whatnot. And you know what? The choreographers have been involved in stuff like Power Rangers and stuff. So just to quickly go through that, right? So, so consider it like, it's a low budget sort of movie. The fight choreograph was done very well, right? The hand-to-hand combat scenes, especially with Sean fighting the guy fighting the Zoanoids, which were like brutal because, bro, there was like head chopping again, darkness, right? Heads chopping off, squeezing the Zoanoids' face and all that sort of stuff, crushing them and everything. Which was awesome. But the fight choreographer for Guyver Dark Hero was handled by Kiyoshi Sakamoto. A Japanese stunt coordinator, actor, and action director known for his work in martial arts action-packed series. So check this out, bro. So he's involved in Power Rangers franchise. So a whole bunch of the Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers Zero, all that sort of stuff, right? Drive 1997, which had an amazing martial artist as Martin Conspiracy and worked great together. Some other movies, some which I might not be too familiar with. There's one called Death Trance, came out in 2005. Another one, Broken Path. But just based on this, based on Drive, and even Power Rangers. Look, man, we watched that as a kid, but the martial arts was great. So yeah, man, he's got a background in Japanese tokusatsu. What is this? Tokusatsu, which is probably a martial arts style, man. Live action special effects shows. The American action film made him an ideal choice for the Guyver Dark Hero, where the fight choreographer emphasized fluidity in martial arts, mixed with biomechanic abilities with the Guyver armor. So I'm talking about not only the weapons, but the beams that come out of the bio boosting. Even some points like when they were fighting at the end, when the two bio armors are fighting at the end, they almost like glide, like when they jump off the little ledge or whatever, they kind of glide back. So this style kind of typically combines with like martial arts techniques with a flair of like cinematic action and involves in like wire works and stuff like that. So
that was good. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison to the manga, I mean, it's definitely a bit different. The manga expresses a lot more powers. The Zoanoids were definitely in the manga.
Bigger.
The Zoanoids, they were definitely bigger. They were definitely creative, like they were more creative, I mean, when you're doing pencil work and whatnot, art animation, you could be a lot more creative than a practical suit, right? Because especially with certain budget and whatnot, so they do diverse a lot in the manga. And in the manga, I have to say, the Zoanoids do look more, rather than like, they look more vicious. They look more
vicious. They're monstrous. They're monstrous. They're bigger. They're.
And now I'm here to destroy you as you have destroyed me.
The size difference you can't compare to putting it on real paper and pencil to putting it on live screen. So you're talking about, you never know if they did a live action now, you could put that ferocity in a big monster. But for kind of grounding it and what they did for a film with a low budget with great martial arts in it, I thought they did fine, bro. Like, so there was some, like, for me personally, there were some odd things in there, but it works.
I always laugh at
that guy.
I'm like, bro, what you say?
What are you doing, bro? My guy just jumps, bro. My guy just jumped here and do nothing. He got his head chopped in that one. But yeah, you're limitized.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple of them that looked good. Like the one that they thought that was a bear who showed up in the beginning, the first one. Like, he looked great. The main one looked great. There was a couple of other ones that looked. There was one that looked like Predator, which kind of makes sense because Steve Wong was involved in Predator. But my guy with his little pinky finger was jokes. The old guy who was the father, sorry man.
Yeah, that swollen losing bug, man.
Yeah, the lady, she lost them, and she was basic. They didn't even give her.
She was basic,
man.
My guy, she was swimming.
She was swimming. She got smashed by that dude, the FBI guy and whatnot. And there was another guy at the end who looked like a frog, and I was like, alright, cool. But some of them look scary.
Oh yeah, the one that.
You got the dynamite in the mouth, idiot.
I was like, what?
That was awesome, though. That was awesome when he captured Dynamite. He was like, He just shot him and blew him up. But yeah, that was cool. I mean, look, we spoke about the tone. We did talk about the tones and the theme. And as you said, it was a darker tone, which definitely suited the manga, suits this movie. As you said, being in the cave and all that sort of stuff suited the environment. The environment of the movie suited, the darker tone. You could set a darker tone, yes, they were in a forest and daylight and all that sort of stuff. And I think they worked pretty good with the daylight, especially. But I have to say, that scene when he runs off the cliff and he goes Guyver, and it comes up. I know the animation might be basic, and what I was looking out for, I was like, oh my god, bro, is this going to be the first superhero landing? Now they didn't show us. They didn't show us the landing, but you can say that's the first superhero landing. But they didn't show us him land. I was like, oh, if you showed us that would have been great. I would have been like, that's the first superhero landing in the live action.
Guyver.
But
kind of, because it was good, bro. I still got excited. I still got excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still got it. They did a couple of things as well, just to kind of jump on, was there's a scene that they made it look like the manga. You know when mangas they fight, like Fist and North Star, they had the lines in the background. You know the scene where he jumps off the bridge in the cave and he goes to kick the bio booster, the second Guyver. When he goes to do the 100 kicks on him, if you look at the background, they kind of did the white lines and the black lines, so it looked like it was going at such a speed and velocity, and it was like, oh shit, they do that in the mangas usually. So they did try and bring elements in to kind of see how it works. But listen, bro, for what they did, it's a, bro, 1994, and I'm still enjoying it now like a kid. That's amazing. And it's a rewatchable movie, bro.
Oh, without a doubt.
How many times we've seen it? You know what I mean? Great soundtrack. Oof.
I didn't struggle to watch it. I didn't struggle to watch it at all. And the martial arts, again, going back to when he was fighting the Bio Booster at the end, was, bro, what Wong Fei Hong kick, no shadow kick, all that sort of stuff. Bro, like he done the Donnie Yen kick when he jumps up and does that. Well, he went more than 3 kicks, but there was so much of a great martial arts. Bro, do you know what mine remember? And we call it the Guyver kick. I was watching the one. What was the film we just watched with Scott Adkins?
Kill them. No.
Yes, Killer's Game. And
Killer's
Scott Adkins, and we call it the Guyver kick, right? Scott Adkins basically, it's that kick where you jump, you do a spinning kick, but you do it over their head. Your legs coming over their head, but the other leg kicks them like that.
Yeah.
And bro, that was from this movie. I call that the Guyver kick. It's absolutely amazing, the martial arts. They done really well, man. He even done the from Tekken 1. Do you remember Law had that grab move where he runs up on them, and he lands on them. So in this movie, he done something similar, but instead of landing on him, he kicked him in his Guyver unit thing, which
that's right.
Martial arts was actually really brilliant in this movie.
Bro, it's at some point the martial arts was on point on that. And then you know what, bro, the sound effects, like just to kind of emphasize on the sound effects of the suit, yeah. You know, my guy sounded like an aeroplane and all sorts of machinery, but with the bio boost armor, because it was organic, but it just had this kind of tick-tack, click-clack sound to it, which really worked for me. I don't know why I got excited, because it was like you could feel some sort of power to it, I suppose. Like when he spins, he sounds like a cyclone when he retracts the blade or when he does a pose. And I'm like, this is fucking sick, bros. Like, it made me want to draw him again. I was like, you know what? I'm going to draw this character again. Because he just had wicked poses. Like, every scene, if you notice, when he finishes fighting, he has a perfect pose, bro.
Well,
sick.
That's what I'm saying. I've got a figure for it. I mean, that's how. And look at that, man. It looked like that. I mean, the movie, like, obviously this is from the anime, but it looked like that. It's absolutely amazing.
So good, bro. Look at that, bro.
The artwork, the detail, like, again, like when you look at this, for example, you see that it's not human technology. It looks like a Iron Man suit or whatever, but you can see that it's an alien technology, but also almost like human. Like, I don't know, it's just done so well, like with humans and whatnot, from a human element. But
I love that. So cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed like the human versus weapon sort of element. And the internal struggles that Sean was going through to battle that, because he's still a human, but he's got this weapon that's a deadly killer, basically, and it kills, and it does kill. It killed humans in the beginning, but it's not killing innocent people, and it does have a control, especially when they were in the scene with the water, with the 2 Zoanoids were trying to kill what's her name, Corey and her father or whatnot, and he was able to control it, almost like the Hulk sense, you know, where Hulk. He has a bit of a sense to not kill innocent people. I mean, Hulk kind of rages out too much, but there is an element of that Sean was kind of battling. And then the alien influence we talked. I think you know that Prometheus sort of thing. Like, it reminded me of that so much, man. So I thought that part was pretty good in regards to how it's involved with humanity, and it didn't really come to me until watching it again, thinking, holy shit, man, this is almost like Prometheus sort of type of thing. Pacing and storyline. I would say, look, listen, man, I wasn't bored watching it, bro. I mean, honestly, I was like, is this going to be boring or whatnot? Bro, for me, it was fine, man. I felt like the tone, I didn't think it was too slow. I mean, of course, you're anticipating. I think, like I said, I think the opening scene was perfect because you gave us the Guyver immediately. So there's not like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
wait till he comes. So I love that. So there is a long like period before the Guyver unit comes back. He comes back for that guy when they're in the forest and he thinks it's a
The
bear.
forest, yeah.
And that one cracked me up, man, because my guy, he's got his shotgun and he's like, take the picture. And he's like, fuck the picture, man, shoot him. And then poor guy gets his head chopped off and whatnot.
Oh man.
But that scene
yeah.
there as well, when he's running and he goes, Guyver, and they just come behind him and just attack Bo, that was pretty awesome, the way they did that. But
They did that well.
yeah, I thought the pacing was brilliant. I mean, what do you think about the pacing of the movie?
So we saw the director's cut, yeah. So it's slightly longer. So that was 2 hours 7 minutes. The original cut that we kind of grew up with was hour 30 minutes or hour and a half. So they cut out quite a lot. So this had loads of scenes in it. You know, like in the original one, in the theatrical cut that we saw, it didn't have this scene where he breaks up with his girl. There's a couple of scenes with Corey that's in there that wasn't in that one as well. There's other scenes in there. I was like, oh, I don't remember this scene, but well, that's what the director's cut does. I don't think there's no pacing issue. I think it keeps it going. There are some cheesy moments, but it keeps the film rolling. You're right. They give us the Guyver at the beginning. It's another 20, 30 minutes till we can see the Guyver again. The Guyver again. It kept me going. It kept me excited. I think it was really, really well done. I mean, there's one thing that we missed. So you know when they're doing this I can't even say that word. Archaeological site is that they find a Guyver ship, the ship that brought down, you know, the Mutronics and all. Sorry, not Mutronics, the Zoanoids, and how they created stuff and the rest of it. And you know, it's all funded by Kronos. So the actual scientist, the daughter doesn't know who's Corey, and father's he's in on it. But it works, bro. I feel like it still captures me 20 years later. Is it 20 years almost? 20 years later?
No, 2004. Yeah, 30 years, bro. 30.
Oh, shit.
Do the math, man.
1994, man. Lose.
Do the math. It's crazy. I mean, I agree. I didn't feel like, I honestly felt like, because it's been so long since I watched it, like, I didn't feel like I was struggling to watch it. And I didn't even know it was a director's cut till you told me. So I feel like the pacing was cool. I even think the correct character development was cool, because I think, like, I really think the opening scene was done so well. We spoke about this in previous retro movie reviews. They do a great job with character building without doing much. In the sense that in the beginning, we see the opening scene with Guy. Awesome, you gave us him. You gave us that little scene where he's having the struggles with his girlfriend, then he goes on that sort of Hulk lonely man tribute, trying to go to the psychological side to get answers and whatnot. Easy. There's no long backstory and whatnot. Throughout that scene, you could just see the struggles that he's going through, what he's trying to find out. He's trying to get answers. He's having these dreams, drawing these pictures. And you're kind of like, you're just doing it. So I don't know, in my opinion, you're doing it so well. You're not wasting time on that. You're just giving us that as well as moving us forward with the story. And eventually we want to get to a bit more Guyver and martial arts and whatnot, which is awesome. So I think they've done the character development and the story pacing amazingly, bro. I think that was really good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I can't say nothing much about that. That was it. I feel like I'm still engaged, even though this was the first time watching the director's cut, and that's an extra 30, 40 minutes on top. Give it to me, man. I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like, that's more Guyver for me. Like that, I've learned something new by watching that as well. And even though it was longer, it didn't take away from the excitement that I already knew what that was coming. You know. I love the soundtrack. I love the beat of it. The beat of the movie is actually quite good, bro. That's why I think the pacing is fine.
The soundtrack was great though. I'm trying to remember it now, but I remember it being good. I mean, there was like a little trying to think now. Yeah.
I love it. It's a good soundtrack. And you know what? I've been trying to look for it so I can download it from my phone. And keep that with you because it's just like a good training track. You know when it gets intense, it's like dun 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 dun, and it's like you just know. But that scene that I'll never forget is when he jumps off that mountain, bro. You're like, well, this is sick. Like they did it well, bro. Even though they didn't have to show it. Like this is what I'm saying. Like in movies now, you don't have to really show us, but they did it. Like they did it in a way where even though he did the landing, he already had switched into the Guyver suit. It was
Yeah.
the stand up, and the stand up was epic, bro. And I was like, look at him, man, most really good, really good.
That was done really good. I mean, just to kind of comparison with the manga. So I just wanted to kind
Mm,
of do some like bit of comparison because obviously the main source is the manga. End of the day, we're
mm,
talking about the movie. We do love the anime manga that came out with
exactly.
Fukumashi, and there was a whole Guyver Unit 3 in that we never ever, we always
Yeah.
wanted to see that in real life, but obviously, that didn't happen and everything. But some of the simplifications of the Zoanoids, as we spoke, like the movie was more simplified compared to the manga.
Hmm.
The core elements of the Guyver universe is compressed, obviously, because this is a small movie. I reckon if
Hmm.
we had a TV show now, you can kind of expand on that narrative. But this was a small movie, so it's kind of like a just little story and whatnot.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would say some of the kind of broader scopes is the original bio-boosting armor manga created by Yoshiki
Mm.
Takaya explores more on the larger world of the complex story involving all the like numerous organizations like Kronos and whatnot and the alien backstories, and it delves deeper into the originals of the Guyver units, right, and the Zoanoids
Mm.
and their creators and the ancient like alien race and everything. So we get a little bit of glimpse of that in this, but not too much, right? And as we spoke about in the beginning, I feel like it doesn't seem like it makes sense that these Zoanoids were the real, like the Guyver was the mistake. But
Mm.
that was, in the manga, they go in more depth. Character depth, of course, the manga provides a lot more details on the character, his life. Sho Fukumachi, like the main protagonist, like they told us more about him, his relationship with his families and all that sort of stuff. And then you
Yeah.
go into like, follows his emotional and psychological journey as he struggles to understand the Guyver unit in the face of the horrors of fighting Zoanoids. So remember in the manga, obviously, they go on for loads of episodes and everything. He
Yeah, they
dies,
did. I
remember
think
at
it was
one point? He dies and gets regenerated and he comes back more powerful and he kind of like I guess with that regeneration he kind of combined a bit more with the manga and with the Guyver unit and everything.
with the unit. Yeah, that's right. And
Yeah.
remember the guy, he used to scream it, bro. It's like, like he
Oh
used to go
yeah,
crazy, bro. I was hoping they could introduce that in this one because he kind of just says Guyver and it comes out. Where
yeah,
in the manga, he used to scream it so loud, bro. And then everything used to turn white and the floor used to come apart and he'd be floating and it would just take over him. And it was like, uh, as you said, like it's more expressive in animation than you could do so much with animation. Live action is very hard to work with, uh, very hard to work in, but they do it fine. Like I think what they've done, what they've created, like even when Bio Booster 2 goes bio armor, whatever he says, did he say bio armor?
yeah.
Bio
Bio
armor,
boost or something.
bio
But
boost,
you don't
and
see it. What's good
you
about it? You
don't
don't
see
see
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't see it, so you're like. Budget cuts. We're not going to be able to do this on top of a Zoanoid. It's hard enough him being a Zoanoid.
but it
Uh,
works.
it worked so well, bro. And he had this little twitch when he was fighting. I love that. I don't know
His
why I
thing was
keep remembering it.
cracked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had this little. Every time he went like kind of sideways, he was like, "Dit, dit," and I was like,
yeah.
It's weird those little ticks and like little things that they worked on in between there. It's just it's. I think for us fans, we'll always notice those little details, right? I think that's something we're gonna forever take with us with the movie world. Anyway, it's like those little nods, those little things that keep us connected to the story. Because you're like, oh shit, the Guyver unit was damaged. How are they going to represent that on the screen when he does do it? And he has the little twitches and stuff like that, which is cool. No, really good, really good.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think you're right. I think those little details compared to the manga, just they tried to emphasize as much. Remember, we watched the director's cut. Could you imagine? Like we speak about this all the time. It happens now. Emphasizing be an anime, a video game, a comic book into a TV, into a 2 hour movie. Or back then we watched a 1.5 hour one. This was a 2 hour one. Building character relationships, giving us enough action, keeping us engaged in the story. You know what I mean? As well as all the other stuff like costume design and the mechanics of it and the martial art. It's a hard job. You just spoke to the directors and producers of Transformers, and you said the same thing. Like portraying what we got in the 80s, what we grew up with. It's a hard job to put that in a 2 hour movie or a 1.5 hour movie. And this was doing that back then. And as a fan, I feel like I was entertained. Now, I would love to hear from a native Japanese person who grew up with Guyver and whatnot, what their thoughts on the movie was. But I feel like this movie, just my opinion, because if you watch Mutronics, you might be like, that's not what my Guyver is. But if you watch Dark Hero, you're like, okay, you learn and you took it a step up. You maybe got a bit more budget. You maybe got a bit more creative with the martial arts and the violence and the darkness. Now this is more of an adaptation to the anime. So I think they've done a great job with that. I think some of the other things in regards to, so I spoke about a little bit about the manga and what the manga was like. The Dark Hero, I mean, like we spoke about, like the film, like they had to condense the story, right? So the film focused a bit more on a smaller, self-contained story about Sean. While it does touch on elements of the manga, like Kronos and the Guyver Unit and Zoanoids, of course, right? You have to, those are the main bases of the movie, right? It simplifies the plot, centered around Sean Baker, and then as he comes to terms with his identity, the Guyver battle. I do, listen, David was amazing, Sean was awesome. They could have, I mean, if you put it in a school with Sho Fukumashi, for example, if you put it in a school setting, I think, like you said, it's different because you're putting it in a city with other people, reactions of these monsters. You don't need all of that. You put it in an archaeological site, which is way out there. You don't have public people, really. These people are already investigating an alien ship. So it's not, yes, it's scary, and they're screaming and shouting when they see the Zoanoids and freaking out and whatnot. But it's limited to these people, and they're already on an archaeological site. So I think that's great. If you put it in a city, how are you going to get everyone freaking out? So that was pretty cool. I think the personal focus on Dark Hero that places more emphasis, obviously, on Sean and his internal conflict, which I think is great, right? The violent nature of
of course,
And the film delves kind of deep into the larger cosmic alien aspects of the Guyver mythos that the manga does, which is great. Kept it simple from that perspective.
That's right.
And then, obviously, the movie has to keep you entertained. So the movie was a bit more action orientated than the manga, right? And the manga, you know, the anime does that, and we've seen it, right? The anime, the what you call it, the anticipation to the fight takes ages, right? Because they got more time over the. I remember Dragon Ball Z, for example. Like you're like, oh, can't wait till they fight. They go 3 episodes before they fight, man. They're just talking, powering up, and whatnot. So these animes, look, they express so much on the emphasis of like the power and the build up of the fight. Where this again, 2-hour movie, you've got to keep people entertained. And they you know, so it kept it a bit more action packed, adding that in and out. So the movie does focus more on great, like physical battle scenes with Sean and Zoanoids.
100%, that's right.
Yeah, and less broader on the alien lore and the conspiracy behind the elements and all that sort of stuff. It focuses
they kept it there.
Yeah, so I think in like, while the manga presents a larger, more complex narrative with deeper characters and rich world building and stuff like that, around the guy with Dark Hero, like I think that this movie like just focuses on more personal.
It's more of a personal and internal,
yeah, it's a bit more action driven story and captures like key elements and kind of does that really well, man. So I thought that was awesome. I think as fans, as loyal manga fans, you're just gonna love this darker tone, love the violence, and love that the small plot that they put together, which just kind of allows you to be like, cool, I get it, let's fight, let's go, man. So yeah, that was awesome. I mean, like final verdicts. I mean, strengths, as we've clearly discussed, like the practical effects for sure, the action sequence, the martial arts for sure, the darker tone that suited the manga, respected the manga for sure was amazing. Considering it was a low budget movie, they've done a great job. I mean, fans of 90s sci-fi, for example, and the anime, like creature features and whatnot, if you're into all of that, you know, creatures and predator and whatever aliens, they've done a great job with that. And they kept it physical combat. They had a bit of CGI, but the fact that they didn't emphasize too much on CGI, I think was a brilliant idea like that, because I think that's where it would look bad, especially if you watch it now. That's where it looked bad. I mean, what do you think about the strengths?
No, definitely. I think the physical aspects of the movie are really well, bro. Like that, you can't beat it. I think that's one of those things where you could watch physical, and I think with those movies in that era, the physicality of movies were really good. Martial arts is strong, and you know the self-contained story. You know, it's weird as you get older. You're kind of like, why didn't he do this in a school, and why didn't they do it in the city? Like they did that with Mutronics, bro, but they shot at night, so there was hardly nobody there anyway. With this one, they have a bit more people in there, but it's a contained story, so it's only them people screaming and shouting. No, I got no qualms on this, man. I think it was a good watch. I just got a few negatives.
I was gonna say, what's your negative? What's your weakness?
There is some of there's dialogue and cheesy moments that do not need to be in that movie, and I suppose that's because we watched the director's cut. Because the original cut, bro, we didn't have that much scenes with people. It was really just something's happening. Let's go. The bear's back again, and they run out. They have moments where they have a bit more conversation, and I suppose the director wanted to put that because it is the new love interest in the film as well, Corey and him. There are moments where they try and get emotional. There are moments when even when I think there was a scene when he was breaking up with his girl, there was an argument happening there, and he turns around and he looks at her, and it was like a Batman turnaround, and I was like, what the hell? Why are you turning like that for, bro? Why so vicious, man? What's going on? But I can understand he's acting on it. He's this is different back then. I wouldn't have put that cut in there, dude. That's me personally, but it works. That, to be honest, it's just the cheesy moments. Some of the cheesy moments which work for the film, and like the cheesy romance scenes, they work. I got hands down, but they have a little bit of overacting in those moments.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think there was no need for Corey. There was need for her. There was no need for a love interest. Because at the end, when they drive off, and he's like, the government could use you, and he was like, I see you around, and then they drive off, they stop, they look at each other, they kiss, and they drive off again. I'm like, there was no need for that.
Just drive, man.
Maybe, okay, you guys like each other now, go on. But I feel like with Corey, she didn't need to be a love interest. But I think back then, bro, every movie had a love interest. It was always a key thing. Like, put that in, make it more relatable, like your love interests and whatnot. I think that the cheesiness, I mean, I think it just relates to also.
I think the cheesiness, the romantic scenes were a bit.
Some of the one-liners, like when the Zoanoid the main dude tells the other guy, the old one, like, you're fired, or something it's just weird that the Zoanoid would say that sort of stuff. But I think that would be if there was anything to be a weakness, I would think that just those sort of things. You don't need to have a love interest. But end of the day, it is a low budget movie. I wish if they was to do it now, you still don't emphasize too much on CGI and everything, but if you could do a longer form like a TV show, you can emphasize more on the story, you could build a lot more character building, all that sort of stuff, which would be great. But I think they've done a great job in that sense.
Exactly.
I think that if there are fans out there who wanted to dive more into the Guyver story and the aliens and whatnot, this obviously doesn't do that because it doesn't have
it doesn't. No.
But overall recommendations, I mean, I would say if you're an anime fan and you want to watch a live adaptation, watch this one. Don't worry about Neutronics. Just go into this one. You don't need to worry about Neutronics. Because at the end of the day, like I say, the beginning is a perfect start of the movie because it gives you a quick backstory of the original one. And then throughout the movie, it talks about Carlos and all that sort of stuff and how he's destroyed them. He said that he destroyed them, but he destroyed like an LA branch compared to... So I would say as a recommendation, 100% watch this one.
Check it out. Yeah, definitely
won't disappoint. I mean, would you say this is the cult classic status as a movie, or would you think that it doesn't fall into a cult classic, but it's just like a good adaptation of a manga or anime? How would you kind of class it?
I think it's a cult classic, bro. I gotta say, it's got to be a cult classic. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna do a bit of research on that and put it up in the polls on YouTube. So, guys, keep an eye out for a YouTube poll to let us know. What do you think? I think it's a cult classic. Definitely a cult classic.
I think cult classic in the sense of a niche audience, which is the audience who likes that, and then cult classic from a practical perspective and the faithfulness towards the manga's dark theme, from that. So it's a very niche cult classic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very niche cult classic. I would say that, definitely. I'll still put out a poll and let me know what you guys think, but I think for me, it's a cult classic, definitely, without a doubt, bro. I absolutely love that movie. I remember we used to record it on a tape deck with the soundtrack and rewind and have it say it 3 times and have the soundtrack and man, I was excited, bro. Good times. It's a movie that will be stuck with me. So for me, it's a cult classic. For me, it's a rewatchable movie. For me, it's good fun, good action. I don't need to use too much brain power. It does the job for me. As you said, there's not much. You don't have to put so much into it. I think with movies now, they have to tell you so much. Where in this one, it told us in the beginning what happened, and then it just went into a story. You know what I mean? They don't need to tell me so much, man. I don't need to know, man, where these fucking aliens came from, man. Just beat them up, man. Kill them, man. Kill them things.
I think, to be honest with you, like, if you didn't even know the first one existed, like, this movie puts you straight into it, that you wouldn't even need to watch the first one. I think that's what it done a great job with that. And I think, like, definitely, like, I think, like, the action with Guyver was more exciting than the action between the Zoanoids, right? Because obviously they were bulkier, and when they were fighting each other, like when they were beating up the old man, like that was poor. Like they just pushed him around a little bit, you know what I mean? And nothing really serious happened. But when Guyver was fighting, he fucked them up, and that was all.
Yeah. So that was
chopping, squashing faces. Like, he fucked them up, man, blowing them up and whatnot. He whipped one of the guys. Oh no, he done the little Van Damme onto one of them. I remember all of them that he killed, but. If you think about it, there's like 5 Zoanoids in there.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6. And that's not bad. Like, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because remember the anime, there was tons. There were
tons of them.
Levels of level 3, level 6, whatever. They were hard for him to battle. This one, it wasn't that. And it's fun when he fucks them up. I think, yes, a little bit of, with the Bio Booster one, he had struggled a bit. But, like, ultimately,
He did well.
When he's fucking them up, you're like, kill him, man. Chop him up, man. Bro. Love it.
No, it was good. Definitely a good film. A good film to watch, guys. If you get the chance, slap it on. It's so easy, and it's like on YouTube as well. So check it out.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, that was it, man. I mean, guys, thumbs up for us on this movie. Definitely enjoyable. Kim, do you want to take us out?
Yes, let's do this, guys. Massive thank you for the subscribes on the channels. What we should have said in between this is subscribe to the channel, guys. Show us some love. If you enjoy the content, subscribe and push that like button and push the notification button. If you're a fan of the channel, it will notify you every time a video comes up. Also, guys, we've got loads of things running at the moment now. So we've got a giveaway going on Twitter at the moment for Batman and Son comic book. Check that out. Oh, if you can see it. There we go. No, it's gone. Thanks to the guys at Fan Home for sorting that out for us. It was Batman month last month, but I'm still doing a giveaway now. Guys, we've got some charity links in our Instagram and TikTok page to help the people of Palestine and Lebanon. Every little helps. Whatever you can do, please help out. There is so much madness going on at the moment now, but we want to be able to help and play our part in humanity to help them out as well. But follow us on our social media platforms as well, guys. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on X as well. We're on Threads. And, you can follow the community button on. So when you subscribe, if you follow the community, you'll see what we're up to as well. When we're at screenings, next reviews coming out, and our Fortnite podcast. We always post on the community, and we'll do polls on there as well now, guys. I'm going to start introducing polls on there. And if you guys have got questions, just comment below. Comment below while you're watching this video. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful time. And I hope you enjoyed that retro movie